जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे। जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे। ज्यों विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र शत श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की श्रील प्रभुपाद की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12, Text 7. Canto 4, Chapter 12, Text 7. We will do the prayers in the meantime. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12, Text number 7. Chapter 12 entitled Dhruva Maharaj Goes Back to Godhead. Okay, text 7. Vrinihi kamam nripayan manogatam mattastvamuttana pade vishankitaha varam vararhom bhujanavapadayor anantaram tvam vayamanga shushruma Vrinihi kamam nripayan manogatam mattastvamuttana pade vishankitaha varam vararhom bhujanavapadayor anantaram tvam vayamanga shushruma Vrinihi kamam nripayan manogatam mattastvamuttana pade vishankitaha varam vararhom bhujanavapadayor anantaram tvam vayamanga shushruma Vrinihi kamam nripayan manogatam mattastvamuttana pade vishankitaha varam vararhom bhujanavapadayor anantaram tvam vayamanga shushruma Vrinihi kamam nripayan manogatam mattastvamuttana pade vishankitaha varam vararhom anantaram tvam vayamanga shushruma mattastvam auttana pade vishankitaha varam vararhom bhujapada padayor anantaram tvam vayamanga Vrinihi kamam nripayan manogatam mattastvamuttana pade vishankitaha varam vararhom bhujanavapadayor anantaram tvam vayamanga shushruma Word to word. Vrinihi, please ask. Kamam, desire. Nripa, O king. Yat, whatever. Manah gatam, within your mind. Mattaha, from me. Tvam, you. Uttana pade, O son of Maharaj Uttanapada. Avishankitaha, without hesitation. Varam, benediction. Vara arhaha, worthy to take benedictions. Ambuja, lotus flower. Nabha, whose navel. Padayoho, at his lotus feet. Anantaram, constantly. Tvam, about you. Vayam, we. Anga, dear Dhruva. Shushruma, have heard. Translation. My dear Dhruva Maharaj, son of Maharaj Uttanapada, we have heard that you are constantly engaged in transcendental loving service to to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known for his lotus navel. You are therefore worthy to take all benedictions from us. Please, therefore, ask without hesitation whatever benediction you want from me. Purport, Srila Prabhupada's purport. Dhruva Maharaj, the son of King Uttanapada, was already known throughout the universe as a great devotee of the Lord, constantly thinking of his lotus feet. Such a pure, uncontaminated devotee of the Lord is worthy to have all the benedictions that can be offered by the demigods. He does not have to worship the demigods separately for such benedictions. Kuvera is the treasurer of the demigods and is personally offering whatever benediction Dhruva Maharaj would like to have from him. Srila Bilvamangal Thakur stated, therefore, that for persons who engage in the devotional service of the Lord, all material benedictions wait like maidservants. Mukti Devi is just waiting at the door of the devotee to offer liberation, or more than that, at any time. To be a devotee is therefore an exalted position. Simply by rendering transcendental loving service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can have all the benedictions of the world without separate endeavor. Lord Kuvera said to Dhruva Maharaj that he had heard that Dhruva was always in samadhi or thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord. In other words, he knew that for Dhruva Maharaj there was nothing desirable within the three material worlds. He knew that Dhruva would ask for nothing but to remember the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord constantly. Translation. My dear Dhruva Maharaj, son of Maharaj Uttanapada, we have heard that you are constantly engaged in transcendental loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known for his lotus navel. You are therefore worthy to take all benedictions from us. Please therefore ask without hesitation whatever benediction you want from me. So, here Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing on how a devotee deserves all benedictions. A devotee can be given everything of this material world, but he will not be affected by any aspect of this material world. He quotes Srila Bilvamangal Thakur, a famous verse. Let me just this side. Bhaktestvayi stiratara bhagavan yadisya daivena nah phalati divya kishora murti mukti swayam mukulitanjali sevatasman dharmartha kamagataya samaya pratikshaha. Which means, translation, O my Lord, if one engages in your pure devotional service with determination, you become visible in your original transcendental youthful form as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As far as liberation is concerned, she stands before the devotee with folded hands, waiting to render service. Religion, economic development, and sense gratification are all automatically attained without separate endeavor. So, Sri Prabhupada begins the purport by saying how Dhruva Maharaj was already known throughout the universe for being a great devotee of the Lord. So, it is during the time of Sripad Ramanacharya, he had a very great disciple. And this disciple, his name is Kuresh, he was a great devout, dedicated devotee, but he was very rich. He was very rich and he was filthy rich, and he would give in charity so many things on a daily basis. So what had happened, he was so rich that Lakshmi Devi heard of Kuresh, and her appreciation of Kuresh was not of his devotion. She appreciated how wealthy he was. So when Kuresh got to know that Lakshmi Devi herself has appreciated me not for my devotion but rather for my wealth, he felt disgusted and he gave up everything. And then he, of course, went to Sripad Ramanacharya and surrendered his whole life. The point I'm trying to stress upon is a devotee is happy to be known for his devotion. He is not known for his external achievements or accolades. He doesn't care for name and fame. And therefore, even Dhruva Maharaj, having attained a Dhruva Loka, having performed so many tapasyas to attain the Supreme Lord, his satisfaction at the end of the day was that he is known as a devotee. Therefore, Prabhupada says, he was already known throughout the universe as a great devotee of the Lord. And Prabhupada continues to say that such a devotee is worthy to have all the benedictions that can be offered by the demigods. Yes. So, the devotees of the Supreme Lord, they don't want anything material. And therefore, they have the therefore anything that is given to them, they don't get affected by it. And that is because in their heart, there is no bhoga vritti. As long as there is even a tinge of bhoga vritti, you can even utilize devotional service for one's own sense gratification. As long as there is complete seva vritti, that means no tinge of bhoga vritti, then even sense gratification will be used, objects of sense gratification will be used for Krishna service. So it is not necessarily about the object of sense gratification, it is not the material object, it is about the state of the heart. It is about the consciousness. So if the consciousness is imbued, it is completely soaked up in service attitude, wherever you put the devotee, he only stands to serve. He doesn't care for anything else. But when there is even a tinge of bhoga vritti, immediately one is calculating on a material platform. One starts thinking, what's in it for me? Yes, Prabhu, I can cook. But what's in it for me? Then you have to say, Prabhu, if you cook today, then 2 other cooking will be cancelled for you. Okay, that makes sense. No? Or I can sing, but when should I sing? Should I sing 3 to 4 p.m. or should I sing 6 p.m. when everyone is there? 6 p.m. I can be there. 3 to 4 p.m. I'm a little busy. So then material calculation creeps in. Material calculation creeps in, which spoils devotional service. So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport to Bhagavatam 1.2.6, he says about pravritti and nivritti, and he says about how pure devotional service, when infected by a material aspect, tinge for one's own sense gratification, spoils everything. That means that mixed devotional service is not very pleasing to the Lord. Of course, Krishna is, he's sulabham sudurlabham. He is easy to be obtained, but at the same time, he's very rarely obtained. He is easy to be obtained because the path of devotional service is guided by Guru. And Guru takes us to Krishna. But he is rarely obtained because not everyone ultimately reaches the platform of pure devotional service. So the Supreme Lord becomes the property. He becomes a play toy in the hands of his pure devotees. And therefore the month of Kartik is so special because in this month, what are we worshipping when we offer lamp? We are actually worshipping that love of Mother Yashoda that captured the running Krishna. That we are worshipping that love which captured, by which she could tie the untieable. So it is that one thing called as uncontaminated, pure love that Krishna wants. And Krishna is conquered by. So therefore the devotee, one who is simply focused on Krishna Seva, one who simply keeps Guru and Krishna in the center, for such a person, you can give him anything. He doesn't mind. He is not foolish like the bhogis who take things of this material world and use for his own sense gratification. They are called as thieves. Whereas he is also not foolish like the tyagis who think they are renouncing this material world because they think it used to belong to me, now it doesn't. So therefore they are also called as foolish because nothing belonged to us anyway. Just imagine if I enter, a 5-star hotel and I say, I renounce this 5-star hotel. I go to university and I say, I renounce the degree of the university. But if you have to renounce, you need to have it at the first place. So therefore, the devotee is very intelligent, where he understands that material world is a belonging of Krishna's. So whenever we write our name on our belongings, we say ICO, my name, in care of so and so, not belongs to this guy. No, no. Nothing belongs to us. And a devotee who perfectly understands this, he remains in the material world in something called as detached temperament. Detached temperament means if Krishna gives us something in our lives, we happily accept it for his seva. And if something Krishna does not give, then we don't mind because the giver is Krishna, isn't it? So therefore, the devotee walks through this world in a detached temperament. In the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, there is a very important verse which gives an understanding of the state of consciousness of a devotee. Apuryamanamachala pratishtham samudramapa pravishanti yadvad tadvad kamayam pravishanti sarve sashantim apnoti na kama kami. It is mentioned that how the devotee is, his heart is full like an ocean. There are many rivers and many rivers gushing, the rivers of desires gushing in his mind. But because his mind is full with the ocean of Krishna, he is so satisfied serving Krishna, no matter how many oceans of desires enter, he doesn't get affected by it. And therefore, finally he mentions, Sashantim apnoti na kama kami. Such a devotee is always peaceful, but not the kama kami who always goes here and there, pillar to post, trying to satisfy his desires. So therefore, Dhruva Maharaj, now he is known for constantly meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. And Kuvera is very confidently asking that, my dear Dhruva, please tell me, what can I do for you? See, if we also want to ask someone, what can I do for you? Whom would you prefer? On one hand, you have a person who is known as a Kamakami, who is known for taking as much as possible, who is known for exploiting. Or on the other hand, you have a person who generally says, no, Prabhu, I'm satisfied. Whom would you ask if you are a giver? Generally, we want to go towards a devotee who is himself satisfied. A person who is always in an abusive, exploitative mind where he always is seeking more and more and not satisfied. Such a person, we are also pretty, careful. We don't want to go to him because he will only want more than you can offer. And this is a science. As brahmacharis, we are taught that, whenever someone offers you something, we generally say, it's okay, thank you very much. I have. Or you can always give to other devotee. Or I can receive it and give it to someone else. But I am satisfied. And this is what even other people want to see, at least the people in saffron, or people as Vaishnavas, The outside people want to see how satisfied the devotees are. When they see that these devotees, whatever I give them, they reject. Not reject, as in they're satisfied, they don't need it. They're just happy even without it. More to the degree they see that in Vaishnavas, this quality of satisfaction, more they will want to give more. You go to a program and because you're giving the program, some devotees come up and say, Prabhu, I just, because you're conducting this preaching program, I thought of giving you $100 out of gratitude. We say, it's okay, it's, everything is being managed. They say, no, we just want to give you something, some personal. We say, no, if you want, you can sponsor the prasadam for the program. If you want, you can put in the temple hundi, give it for temple, whatever need. They say, no, bro, I want to give it to you because you are, we are very attached to you. You say, I'm very satisfied. You say that today, 1 year later, they'll give you $10,000. Why? Because they know that this person is so satisfied himself, even if I give that much money, he will not misuse it. Is that understandable? This is the principle on which one of the qualities of a Vaishnava, how even outside people need to see that Vaishnavas are satisfied. On the other hand, once in India, all the brahmacharis were going in a train, In India, we have student centers almost across every major city. Everywhere student centers are there. So it's very easy for us to travel by train. We take a train, like 36-hour train, and every 6 hours there is a stop where some student comes and gives prasadam. He delivers prasadam. So one group of brahmacharis were going in the train, and at one stop, one student was expert at making ice cream. And in India, it's really strict. We don't take even fruit juice from outside. Very strict. So in India, someone said, okay, a devotee has made ice cream, and probably it has been years since we have had any ice cream. So the devotee brought, two big buckets of ice cream, and there were about 10 devotees sitting in a public train. There are different classes, sections of train, and they were sitting in that portion of train where any common man travels. It's called the sleeper class, not the AC class. In the sleeper class, all these brahmacharis are sitting with two buckets of ice cream. And of course, though not speaking out, spelling out anything, not speaking any word, the materialistic people are observing how do the Vaishnavas behave. And these devotees took out their cups, and one devotee started serving them. And even without asking all the neighboring people, they started eating ice cream and relishing the ice cream and enjoying it and talking about it and glorifying it. The materialistic people said, after one person, he called for a brahmachari and he said, is there anything else remaining in India? When you say like that, that means you're eating a lot. So the materialistic people felt, these fellows, are they sadhus or what are they? The way they're enjoying ice cream. So after that, we all came back to the temple and we had a meeting. So the senior Vaishnava, when he heard about this incident, he told the brahmacharis, we have to be very careful how we put ourselves in the public. Because in India, this cloth, saffron cloth, has lot of respect. So wearing saffron cloth, eating ice cream like that and enjoying and behaving like a materialist in their eyes is complete anti-preaching. You want to eat ice cream is not wrong, but they expect to see Vaishnava of certain caliber, isn't it? So therefore, we have to be very, very careful in how we project ourselves to people in society. At least in India, doing that is anti-preaching. So when the materialistic people, when the outside people see us, these devotees, after practicing Krishna consciousness, I see that they are satisfied. They are only talking about Krishna. They don't want anything but seva. They don't take $1 from me for their personal use. Whatever they do, it's for Krishna. So when they see this level of selflessness, when they see this level of satisfaction materially, they don't want, and there's no interest in the material world. Such a devotee is actually preaching. So therefore, who is preaching? One who is cultivating Vaishnava qualities. One of them is satisfaction. Such a devotee is preacher. And therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorified Srila Haridas Thakur in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He said, my dear Haridas, you are the best preacher. Because some people in this world, they speak a lot, but they don't act. Some others, they don't act properly. Some others, they act properly, but they don't know how to speak. They don't know how to preach. But you, Haridas, you're a perfect preacher because you speak and you act accordingly. Achar and prachar. So, Kubera, he heard of Dhruva being the perfect devotee. See, it's mentioned in this. What is the word used? See, we have heard that you're constantly engaged in transcendental loving service. So that is, just a minute. Yeah. Managatam, within your mind. Okay. Varam vararho ambuja nava padayoho anantaram Tvam vayamanga shushruma. We have heard, what have we heard about you? That you constantly think about Krishna. In your mind is constantly in samadhi in Krishna's lotus feet. And therefore, Dhruva, you unhesitatingly ask. Unhesitatingly is what? Avishankitaha is the word, without hesitation. So if someone has to ask like that, if someone comes to our temple, catches one of us and says, "My dear Prabhu, please unhesitatingly ask what I can do for you." Immediately we'll say, "Prabhu, next property is, we have a huge project. We want to build 14-story building. So can you please give me $20 million so that we can start construction?" He'll say, "Arey, wait a minute. I'm not ready to do that much." Isn't it? So therefore people also, before asking, they hesitatingly ask. But here, Kubera, who is the treasurer of the demigods, he is the one when Krishna came as Balaji. He is the one who funded his marriage also. So Kubera is ready to give to the devotee because he knows devotees are sense controlled. So to the degree we also practice what we preach, to that degree people want to come and give. And we say, "Don't give me, give Radha Govinda." Isn't it? So that is the point. So therefore Sri Prabhupada says that such a devotee is worthy to take all benedictions. Bhukti mukti siddhi kami aste sakala ashanta Krishna bhakta nishkamata eva shanta. That means the bhuktis, the enjoyers, sense enjoyers. Muktis, those who are looking for liberation. Siddhis, those who are looking for mystical perfections. And kamis, one who is looking forward to fulfill all his material desires. These people are never peaceful. But the question comes up, even the muktis are not peaceful? How is it that muktis are not peaceful? Because they are still in their formula, I is there in the formula. Mukti is for whom? Me. So when will I get my liberation? Bhuktis, of course, when will I enjoy? How will I enjoy? Siddhis, when will I get the perfection? But for it is said, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ateva Shanta. Because the Krishna devotees, they have no I factor. What is their main factor? Krishna factor. What can you do for Krishna? How can I be engaged in Krishna Seva? And because they have replaced I with Krishna, they attain as a byproduct, they attain peace. Only peace? No. Bilwangal Thakur says Mukti is waiting at his doorstep, but he is so busy engaged in Krishna Seva that he has no time to address to Mukti Devi. Mukti Devi is folding her hands and saying, "Please accept me and be liberated from suffering." He says, "No, I'd rather serve Krishna." As Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, any happiness and distress in the path of devotional service, both are of great source of pleasure for me. Spiritual happiness. Why? Because their concern is, how is Krishna being pleased? And therefore, such a devotee being materially satisfied, he becomes the best preacher, and keeping Krishna in center, he is always peaceful. Then Prabhupada continues in the purport. He says, simply by rendering transcendental loving service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can have all the benedictions of the world without separate endeavor. Yes. So, as devotees, sometimes when some of our devotees are in Govardhan, in Vrindavan, they are undergoing, there's a yatra by His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. So, one devotee sent me photo of the Govardhan Puja celebrations. They offered like 3,500 plus items. Because of course 10,000 people, So they offered so many items. And I asked him, "Prabhu, last time when I was in Yatra, I was the person in charge of loading all the bhoga onto the stage. And after offering, I was the person in charge to get it down. So I was also making sure I'm keeping some for ourselves, some nice Mahaprasad." So he said, "Prabhu, don't worry. I also got the mercy today, this time. I got the mercy where some devotee being so merciful, they gave me 4-5 packets of Mahaprasad, which I kept for myself." Like that he said. So immediately I was thinking, is only getting the packet of Mahaprasad mercy? Isn't it, someone who does not get, the packet of prasadam. Can that also be considered as mercy? Yeah, is that understandable? That means, is only getting benediction the Supreme Lord's mercy? Are we limited to that? Or can we also see that sometimes when I don't get, that is also Krishna's mercy. It is mercy from the point of view that it is Mahaprasadam. But when it is Mahaprasadam, everything is Mahaprasadam. Not only jalebi, not only peda, not only samosa. Even dal is Mahaprasad. But that dal no one wants. And sometimes when we say not getting is also mercy, that is from the point of view of sense gratification. So a devotee, say you stretch out your arms and say, please give me some Mahaprasadam, and they're throwing the Mahaprasad. You get laddu. That is mercy from point of view that it's Krishna's prasad, remnants. And on the other hand, you didn't get anything. That is also Krishna's mercy that he protected you from sense gratification. So a devotee is so smart and so intelligent that he views every situation in life as Krishna's mercy. Tattenu kampa susamikshamano bhunjane vatma kritam vipakam hridvagvapurbhir vidadhan namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadhaya bhak. So here Lord Brahma, after having tested Krishna and getting purified, he is saying, my dear Lord, only that devotee has a claim, rightful claim to the spiritual world. Who is it? Who, when miseries come in his life, he can fold his hands, he has the strength. The most troubling times, he has the strength to fold his palms and tell Krishna, thank you. I deserve more. Only such a devotee has a rightful claim to spiritual world. Why? Because he sees that this misery or trouble coming in my life is also Krishna's mercy. I was supposed to suffer even more. Or that even if this suffering is coming in my life, Krishna is so mercifully sending it, because when I look back in my life, it is the sufferings, the miseries, the troubles that has shaped me to become a better devotee. How many of you agree? Or how many of you feel the success that you went through in your life has shaped you to become a better, even white devotee, better person? Generally not. Success doesn't teach so much. It is the sufferings, it is the misery, it is the trouble that comes in our life, especially Krishna sent. Those troubles shape us to become the perfect devotee who can go back to Godhead. At that devotee, you catch his hand and say, come on, I'll take you back to home, back to Godhead. He'll say, Prabhu, I don't deserve it. Just give me some seva. Such a devotee is the best candidate for spiritual world. So, therefore, a devotee is so satisfied in Krishna, he doesn't have material calculation. Material calculation means what is success, what is failure. I want only good, I don't want the bad. But in devotional service, everything is good. Because Krishna is absolute. Therefore, there's nothing that there is bad in devotional service. Everything is good. Sometimes someone will come and chastise us. It is for our good. We need to develop the inner strength to tolerate it or to grow with it. Sometimes someone will come and give us praise. We need to have the inner spiritual strength to pass it on to Guru and Vaishnavas. So, for a devotee, if he wants to make progress, to the degree we see every moment as Krishna sent, to that degree we are making progress every moment. Mercy is not just getting what we want. I was really praying hard that I can get to do this particular seva. Krishna might have other plans. So when we don't get it, that is also Krishna's mercy. Prabhu, I'm trying my best to get a visa or a green card. Krishna might have other plans. Krishna doesn't give. It's his mercy. He knows what he is doing. Actually, if you can compare all the individuals and Krishna, Krishna is one person who knows what he's doing. Isn't it? So, having that reassurance, we don't have to doubt Krishna's plan. Sometimes we may need clarification. Why is Krishna doing like this? What could some clarification of the context. But at the same time, the devotees, they never doubt Krishna. And the best example is Pandavas. Pandavas, they were known to be devotees of Krishna. Krishna, hearing about Pandavas' troubles, traveled all the way from Hastinapur to meet the Pandavas. From Dwarka to meet the Pandavas in Hastinapur. So, at that time, as they were undergoing so many troubles and tribulations, Pandavas never questioned, "My dear Krishna, why are you doing this to us?" They never questioned. They never got a doubt in their life that Krishna might be little inimical, or maybe his power is limited. Maybe he doesn't have proper understanding of things. They never had such a idea. Pandavas, they were put through whatever kind of trouble and tribulation, they always knew Krishna is my ever well-wisher. So, this is the best example for us. And such a devotee, after undergoing everything, when Kunti was, when Krishna is leaving Hastinapur back to Dwarka, Kunti is offering prayers and she is saying one of her prayers, Vipada Santu Tashashva Tatra Tatra Jagadguru. She is saying, "My dear Lord, whatever troubles we went through," what are some of the troubles? Trying to be burned in the house made of lac, or Bhima being poisoned, her son being poisoned, Pandavas having to face all these Kauravas and constant threat of death, or even Draupadi, especially in the Vedic times. Today people don't mind. Even if Dushasana is, disturbing Draupadi in today's age, Draupadi won't have minded so much. In America, no problem. They'll say, "Hey, Dushasana, don't mind, I'll only come in such a dress." Isn't it? Whereas in Vedic times, it is something very obnoxious, unheard of, to ruin the chastity of a lady. And she is being disturbed in a general public assembly filled with great generals. So there, the ruining the chastity of Draupadi, another great mishap. So Kunti Maharani, in one of her prayers, she says, "These are the problems we went through." And later on she says, "I'm ready to go through it again." Is she crazy? I think only crazy people ask for suffering, isn't it? So she is not crazy, because the other two lines says, "My dear Lord, when I'm put through suffering in my life, that is the time we take shelter of you." And taking shelter of you means no more troubles. So she is a very, Prabhupada calls her the most intelligent woman, isn't it? Why? Because she knows troubles means take shelter of Krishna. Take shelter of Krishna means no more troubles. So where is trouble? So very intelligently she said, "My dear Lord, please give us trouble." So the devotee, he doesn't say trouble, misery, pain, reversals in life. These are all, he doesn't say, "Oh Krishna, why are you not showering your mercy?" No. Krishna, in the life of his devotee, as his own as Giriraj Maharaj says, he mentioned that even a devotee chanting one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, sincere to grow in spiritual path, taking guidance of devotees, Krishna is fully present even for such a devotee. He comes to the category of "Ye bhajanti tu maam bhaktya maiti teshu chapyaham." For others, general, samoham sarvabhuteshu, name dveshosti na priyaha. Even atheist, he gives food. So we should not be, I am getting food. That is for everyone. But for a devotee, Krishna gives. What is it that Krishna gives his devotee and not to the other people? Yeah, himself. Okay, pure devotees. Okay. But for us, sadhakas, what does he give? Holy name. Okay, good. Anything else that he gives? Prasadam. Okay, yeah, that is also Krishna's mercy. You're traveling long distance and somehow, somewhere you get prasadam. You don't have to succumb to karmic grains. He gives guidance. So what does he give his devotees is the reciprocation. The materialistic people, other atheistic people, they don't care for the Lord. So still he gives them food. You survive. Try to fulfill your desires. He is a Upadashta Anumantacha, only overseer and sanctioner. But for his devotees, he is a reciprocator. He reciprocates with the desires of he reciprocates with the love of his devotees. And that makes Krishna very special Lord. And the devotees also, even if one is chanting one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna is fully present for such a devotee. So therefore, as we grow in our devotional service, a sign of growth is, how am I able to see every instance of my life as Krishna's mercy, as Krishna sent? That means seeing the hand of the Lord in every situation. To the degree we can see that, then we understand there's some spiritual progress happening. The Prakrita Bhaktas are the neophyte devotees. The Prakrita Bhaktas or the neophyte devotees are the ones who can see Krishna only as the deity. Apart from the deity, they cannot see Krishna. That means, as soon as they go out of the temple, they revert back to their materialistic side. That is not that. Therefore, they are called as a neophyte, or Kanishtadhikari is called as materialistic devotee, because he has a materialistic side which he succumbs to outside the temple, because he cannot see Krishna's presence everywhere. But as one grows and matures in devotional service, like Dhruva, he is able to see Krishna's mercy everywhere. He is constantly in samadhi. Means what? He is not locked up in temple hall. That is not the meaning that Dhruva is in samadhi. That means whatever action he is performing, whatever he is doing with his life, everything he knows the goal is to please Krishna. It is like Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha. His consciousness is soaked in Krishna consciousness. As Prahlad Maharaj says, what is that verse? Magna Chitta it comes. Naivodvije paradurattaya vaitaranyas twadviragayana mahamrita magna chitta shochetato vimukachetas indriyartha maya vimudan bharato udvato maya sukhaya. How does it come? Maya sukhaya bharam udvato vimudan. So the point is, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Naivod Vijay Paraduratyaya Vaitaranyas. My dear Lord, I am not scared to undergo Vaitarani river. I mean, if you hear the description of Vaitarani river, you will be pretty scared. It is filled with stool, pus, urine, blood, flesh, and all the fishes like piranhas and sharks, crocodiles, and so on and so forth. That's just 1% description. So the living entity, as soon as Garuda Puran explains, the soul leaves the body. If he is sinful, the Yamraj pulls the soul through the Vaitarani river. And Prahlad is saying, I am not scared. Why? Tvad Gayana Mahamrita Magna Chitta. My consciousness is soaked up in your glories. So much so that Magna Chitta means what? It's like a sponge soaked in water. You touch the sponge, you'll get water. You touch a devotee, say one spoke of trouble hits his, pricks the devotee. You prick Prahlad, immediately he'll say Krishna. You say, oh Prahlad, you're such a nice devotee. He say Krishna. Whatever happens to devotee, only Krishna, Magna Chitta. Like that. So therefore, we also, learning from Dhruva, today we discussed a couple of points. One is that we have to live up to the words that we preach, especially being satisfied in Krishna, not hankering for anything material. That also it's a very good preaching tool that people actually come forth and they want to give more to the devotee because they understand he is satisfied and sense controlled. Then we also saw the point that because the devotee is fully devoted to the Supreme Lord, he gets whatever he wants. The Lord is ready to give. Dhruva said, my dear Lord, I don't want anything. Kachin vichinvan apidi viratnam swamin kritartosme varam nayache. I've got a blue diamond like you. Why will I ask for material benedictions compared to broken piece of glass? So, but the Lord anyway gave Dhruva Loka. So the devotee doesn't want anything, but the Lord is ready to give everything. So, in other words, you can say a devotee has everything. Krishna is preserving it. Whenever required, he'll give it. And we also discussed about how to face reversals in life. It is only possible when we are constantly in tune with the frequency of the Supreme Lord, thinking of His desires, what will please Him, and ready to take reversals as Krishna sent. And that comes by spiritual growth, and it is a measure of our spiritual growth. So I will pause here if anyone wants to share anything. Yes, Prabhu.
Hi, well, thank you for a very nice class, full of practical advice. Just your quote of Kunti is not exactly on point because somebody may say that's circular logic. You said, she said, let troubles come because when troubles come, I take shelter of you, which means no troubles. So that may seem like circular logic. So it's not. That's not exactly what she said. She said, "Bipadak tatasan takta tatatat guru bhavatak darshanad yaksha apunar bhavadarshanam." She said, "Let those calamities come again and again, because when those calamities come, we see you."
Correct.
Not just that they took shelter, they actually saw Krishna. Whenever there was calamities, Krishna would appear. Like with Draupadi, he actually came and gave her extra cloth. When Mara cited that example in his class about Durvasa Muni and his 60,000 disciples. So Krishna actually came and said, find some little piece of... So he personally came. So she said, when we see you, apunar bhavadarshanam. We don't see birth and death anymore. No more repeated birth and death. Not just that we don't see any more troubles. We don't see repeated birth and death. That was her point. So if we see Krishna, like we come here every morning and we see Radha Govinda, if we actually learn to see them, not just here's a statue and I bow down, but actually see that this is our eternal Lord, that means you're not seeing birth and death, which comes back to your point and Prabhupada's quote from Bilva Mangala Thakur, that if you're actually engaged in bhakti, mukti is waiting with folded hands. There's no question of birth and death for a devotee. Liberation is waiting with folded mukti mukatanjali. She's waiting, begging for some service. What to speak of, wealth and everything else is there for the devotee. That was the whole point of this purport and class. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the class. I was interesting on, I wanted to get your response to this question I had. It's especially for this month of Kartik, we like the Damodar Leela is similar like Mother Yashoda, she's trying so hard to tie up, Lord Damodar, but it's he's just 2 fingers too short. So my question is, how do we know when to stop? Because she didn't stop, but she kept endeavoring. Like your point of beginning, is it the Lord's mercy that we try something and it comes out we want? Or do we keep trying, or do we just stop? It's also the Lord's mercy. We should try to do something else.
In spiritual life, there is no stopping. We go deeper and deeper, and with the aim of becoming more spiritually realized, we need more realizations. For example, say you go for a preaching program, and then someone says, hey, you don't know anything. Then one can take it as a loss. Oh, actually she's right, I don't know anything. So I can stop. That reversal means you just have to go even deeper. But at the same time, sometimes say you're doing some seva. You're already putting 10 hours book distribution, but not much book distribution is happening. So that means Krishna is not giving the fruit that books being distributed. Then you feel, okay, 10 hours not sufficient, I'll go for 20 hours a day. Then you kill yourself. That's also not good seva, to kill yourself. So then what to do? That means if one place Krishna is blocking the door, we can also think that there must be some smarter way of doing book distribution. Like the Krishna Life in Atlanta. During the COVID times, the book distribution, hand-to-hand book distribution stopped. So they thought about doing it online. And they were saying it became even more successful than hand-to-hand. So when one door gets blocked, at least in Krishna consciousness, we can be rest assured Krishna opens another door. Like that. But generally speaking, there will be many case-to-case nitty-gritties. Krishna consciousness has to be practiced under guidance. Under guidance of the Vaishnavas, Guru and Vaishnavas. Hari Guru Vaishnavas. So when we do it under guidance, then we can practice it in a balance. That is very, very important. But at the same time, when you look for something, that's when you will find its presence. Say a boy who is more interested in Hollywood, he goes through a magazine. If you ask him, Prabhu, what did you see in the magazine? He'll say, yeah, I saw so many Hollywood stars over there. A person who is interested in sports, if he goes through the same magazine, you can ask him, what did you see? He'll say, yeah, mostly it was about sports. So different subject matters are mentioned in the same magazine, but different people, based on what they're looking for, they find that. So when we look for, in Krishna consciousness, when we are looking to go deeper, we'll see how Krishna is opening doors for us to do so. But when we are not looking for it, then one becomes frustrated. And therefore, we need to take guidance and proceed in spiritual life.
Hare Krishna. It's a very important question that Michael asked. And part of your answer is very important, the part about following authority. We're always working under the guidance of authority, so we shouldn't make that decision on our own whimsically, because we may give up too soon or go on longer than we should. I'll give you some practical examples, like right here in America, in the beginning, not just America, Europe also, when the devotees would go out and do Harinam, they would get arrested. And we were ready to give up, and Prabhupada said, no. He said, they'll get tired of arresting you, just keep going out. And that's exactly what happened. The devotees kept going out, they kept getting arrested, and finally the authorities just gave up. Another practical example is Juhu. Even the devotees were ready to give up. There were so many obstacles to get that temple. And Mr. Nair especially, personally didn't want the devotees, he wanted to cheat them. But Prabhupada said, no. Why? Not for his own sense gratification. He said, the principle is, once the deity is established somewhere, they should never be moved. And we should take that to heart here in New York, because these deities have been moved unnecessarily several times. Once the deity is established, they should never be moved. So he kept fighting and fighting, and of course Krishna made him victorious. So the point about taking, and on what authority? On the authority of the scriptures, on the authority of predecessor acharyas. So we should always work under authority. Don't make it be your personal decision. If you're having trouble executing some particular service or something, consult the authorities. What is it they want you to do? Another practical example here in America, we used to go to the airports all the time, especially in LA, because that's where I was for many decades. And the devotees were doing extremely well. But because other people came in and it became very, very obnoxious, people were just getting bothered left and right. Other groups came and started trying to distribute. So finally the authorities kicked us out, kicked everybody out. So what to do? We launched a court case and we're fighting, but in the meantime, what to do? And the authorities said, look, just find some alternative. In the meantime, we may win, we may not win. So the devotees started going heavily to college campuses, especially in California, and did very well. Again, so you always have to work on the authority. On the one hand, you may give up too soon if you don't. On the other hand, you may just keep fighting, knocking your head against the wall unnecessarily. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So we'll stop here. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Sai Gaur Premanande.